Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and this one is about the great Mr. NUNO Bettencourt, his gear and his technique and so on. First, let's listen a quick version I did of Extreme's Warheads from Three Sides to Every Story album. Then, let's get back to it and I show some techniques, kind of his, standard licks and stuff, and let's talk about the gear, what he has used through the years and what he uses nowadays. Alright, welcome aboard. Well, there was some riffs, you know, kind of played like, you know, plays them. At least I tried. So I was at the Extreme show here in Switzerland at Z7 at Pratcham with my wife, and it was the first time I saw the band. I've been a fan since you know, early 90s when Pornography came. Then I obviously discovered that it wasn't their first album, but you know, the first album is great too, 3 sides to every story, absolute fantastic stuff. And the new album, oh boy, seeing, you know, playing, like, it was just so effortless that immediately when I get home, I told my wife that, is it okay if I practice a little bit? So I practiced for a few hours after the show, because it was just like, yeah. What a tasty playing, and the funk and the rhythm and the melody and the technique, absolutely fantastic, and it looked so effortless that it's like I gotta practice more. So yeah, the song, you know, I tried to kind of mix it in a way that the 3 sides to every story album it's very dry album, and on that Warheads song there's only like one guitar like I did now, that's panned a little bit to the left, and then the solo is panned quite hard right. So I did that, and I wasn't using tiny amount of room sound there, but other than that it was, you know, bone dry as I recorded it. And you know, that album is on some songs he has doubled the tracks, and there's more guitars. But Warheads, I remember when it came, the album 3 sides to every story, and Warheads is the first track, and it was quite a bit different sound than on Pornography, because it was like really dry and guitar on the left and then the solo on the right. First I was like, whoa, but then I was like, this is actually really cool, because you really can hear what he's doing extremely well. But I mean, like I said, it's not like that on all songs, but that has been my favorite songs, and the solo. So let's talk about the gear a little bit. You know, as we all know, he uses his own signature Washburn guitars. This is a N4 made in Japan in the, I believe this is 91 or 92, and these were, according to internet, like made exactly the specs that, you know, NUNO's first guitar and the Stephen Davies, what he made. I've done a video about this, so let's not go into that detail, but the neck is a little bit thicker, at least on the N4 American made ones I've tried. I have changed the tuners, basically everything. The only original is the pickup switch and the 59 Duncan humbucker. So what I have here is this had a shallower bridge, silver all hardware, but the bridge was used. It was done. So I have a shallower, new shallower bridge, and a Wilde pickups, Bill and Becky Lawrence 500 XL. Nuno has used XL and L. We're gonna go into that because I have some old guitar worlds there where he mentions that. And then I've blocked the trem with FU Jones blocker, and these are actually Floyd roses, noiseless springs. So I used to have the whole FU tone brass block here, but I switched them to this guitar because this I play live, endorsed by ESP. So this works fairly fine. So I don't like that much floating stuff, and then I can, you know, drop this more easily because it's, you know, it's not floating. So that is the guitar gear what I have now. So pretty much the same what you know it's been using all these years. Then into my pedal board where I have a rat. It's a little rat, but it's exactly the same, at least if I've understood correct, and sounds the same, because when I bought this I had the bigger one too, and that to me they sounded the same. So I bought the little rat because it was a little bit cheaper and you know, takes less real estate on my pedal board. And then from the rat the signal goes to now to the KHE Electronics amp switcher, and then ADA MP1 preamp, what NUNO used. I have NUNO settings there. There's a document in the internet where you can see. So I just used that, the first settings. It's set up exactly like that. Then it goes to Marshall JCM 2000 TSL's power amp, where I have the presence at 1 o'clock and the effect loop is on full, so it's basically wide open. Then it goes back to KHE and then to Fryet's power station, where I'm taming this down a little bit. And then the cabinet what I'm using is a Marshall BX cabinet, which comes with greenbacks. I have 2 greenbacks in there and 2 creambacks, the 65 watt and the 75 watt. I used, and what I'm using now is the 75 watt mic with SM57 and Sennheiser MD421. I tried using a greenback, like on the document it says that NUNO used greenbacks live, but it just wasn't happening. I wasn't satisfied of what I get, because I kind of tried to match the tone that's on Warheads on the album, and I was able to get the results I like the most with the 75 watt creamback mic with those 2 mics. So that's what I'm using now. And he has like to me 2 or 3 key elements, or 4. The first is obviously his hands, because it all starts here. I mean, we won't sound like NUNO Bettencourt no matter how hard we tried, and if we would have the exact gear and, you know, have even a chance to play with his rig, because that's just the way it is. Nobody sounds like me, nobody sounds like you, because it's all starts here, and here's where you create the sound that the pickups pick up, amplifiers amplify, and so on. But let's take that out of the, you know, equation, if that's the correct word, and focus on the gear. So the N4, this is really bright guitar and not much low end. I recommend using this kind of, because at least to me, without the trem block, you know, this adds sustain also because it's connected to the body. It's fairly thin sounding. This adds more, so actually that the body resonates better, at least with this guitar. So guitar is really bright, I have to remember that. The Bill Lawrence pickup, it's really bright too. This is the Wilde pickups. The Bill Lawrence USA pickup that this had was even brighter. So you have to take that into consideration too. I will show you how bright it is soon compared to others. And then Rat. So if I take the Rat out, now this is the ADA without the Rat. Kind of muzzy. When I put on the Rat, I'm doing this hammer thing. Listen. Rat is a hard clipper, so it adds that bite and that presence and tames down the low end a little bit. And how Nuno has set his, at least according to his interview with Rick Beato, distortion 9 o'clock, volume 3 o'clock, and tone, the filter, at noon. So you have to remember on Rat, the filter is cut. When it's all the way, you know, down here, it's not cutting anything. The more you start to dial, it starts to cut the highs. I have mine at 1 o'clock and the distortion like 8:30. That's was just sounded the best to me. But I think good starting point is distortion 9 o'clock, volume 3 o'clock, then filter at noon, and then dial according to your taste, pickups, speakers, whatever you have in there. So that is a important thing. Guitar, the pickup, and the Rat, because he has used lots of different amps, and you know, with the guitar and Rat, you basically can get that bitey. Because according to, you know, I have lots of. This is from '92, Nino's Guitar World cover. This is this Guitar World is from 1990. There's George Lynch on the cover, but there's a big article. Nuno 2, and then this guitar player. This is from April '91. Nuno. And I think I have something else, but these I found. And then for the last 10 years or so, I've been a digital subscriber of Guitar World. So I have probably all Guitar Worlds from early 90s, like lots of, you know, paper magazines, and now this. So I checked these before this video because about the gear I wanted to be correct. So on one of these interviews he mentions that he uses a 500L pickup, and then I believe it was this where his guitar tech says about his gear, he says that he uses 500XL pickup. So he has probably used both pickups, you know, depending times, because the 5 Bill Lawrence or Bill and Becky Wilde pickups, the L and XL are basically the same. The XL is just a little bit harder pickup. So that's the thing. So apparently he has used both. And then regarding amps, he says on I think it was this interview from Guitar Player that the first album was done with Marshall JZM 800, and the Rat Pornography was done with 88 MP1 into Macintosh power amp and Rat, and he said only that he used a 1969 Marshall cabinet, so it's probably a greenback cabinet. And then 3 sides to every story. He said that he used ADA and then something else, I can't remember now, but on the 3 sides to every tour, where the setting document is, he used ADA MP1 preamp into ADA power amp and a, I think it was Ampeg cabinet, according to one of these 2 Ampeg cabinets loaded with Celestin greenbacks. And nowadays, according to this new Guitar World, for the last 10 years he's been using Marshall JZM 2000 DSL. I have this is a TSL here, and the Rat. And if you read this article, he discusses about his settings. So he says that for one thing, there was no separate rhythm amp and solo amp. It was all the same. My Marshall DSL 100. And there's basically no EQ. The treble is on 1.5. The mids are like 1.5 or 2. And the bass is up to 4. And then I just turn it up. He doesn't say anything about presence, but I'm gonna show you. This sounds like totally like what? But you have to remember the guitar and the pickup and the Rat, they add a tremendous amount of top end. So now this is the ADA with the Rat. Let me switch to JCM 800. I think I last recorded this with that ESP Mirage, which has EMG 81, and it's a lot more bottom end on the actual guitar and fuller sound. So listen what happens with the settings I have with that guitar. And just to show you that I didn't make it brighter, I'm gonna pick this. Back to the N4. So now his setting starts to make sense. So let's get rid of the presence altogether and let's back down the treble. The treble is now at 6. Now it's 0. Then it starts to open. It's 2. Okay, then the mids. Now there's 0. There it starts to open. 4. Okay, so I actually had, I think Nuno said he had his mids on 2, but it was a different amp. So, but Marshall, you know, don't know what channel he used, but the crunch channel on the JCM 2000 GSL is pretty close to 800. Okay, then the bottom. 4. And voila, it starts to sound pretty good. The presence is now at 0 and I have the Rat on all the time. Let's just add a little bit presence too. Now let's switch to the 88. It has a bit more upper mid bite, but that's just the nature of JCM 800. Okay, now with these settings, so presence 2, bass 4, niche 4, treble 2, master 3, preamp gain 7, and the Rat. Let's listen how it sounds with your normal guitar. Very distant somewhere in there. Back to N4. Back bye. So if you have that NUNO setting thing and you dial, and you have the 80 MP1, you dial it, but you don't have this guitar with the Bill Lawrence pickups, it's gonna sound really dark. It's not gonna sound the same. So this is one good thing to remember, that the guitar he uses, the N4, it's really bright and the pickup is really bright. And there's not that much bottom end. So you have to kind of compensate the heavy, you know, high frequencies that this provides by like me turning presence and treble almost down all the way. Listen when I take now switch to ADA. Oh, let's keep us in the 800, and then I'm taking the 80 Rat off. Really woo woo woo. Rat back. It's good thing also to keep in mind that that Rat has lots of upper mid bite. A lot more than, let's say, Tune Screamer or SD1. Okay, back to 80. And then a little bit of his technique. So it was amazing to see him playing like the rhythm, the funkiness and stuff. And he uses a lot of muted hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff. And kind of pinches and single note riffs like that stuff. And one of his kind of standard things is the hammer-ons from nowhere and stuff. So kind of like, so what I'm doing here, this is the same technique he uses on Rise. So, you know, you hit certain strings and then you just hit certain notes just with your left hand without picking, but only palm muting. I'm not obviously as good as than NUNO, because I don't use it that much, but occasionally I do, because it sounds great, but I've tried to avoid that consciously, because that's NUNO's thing. And then he uses quite a lot of these kind of bluesy stuff. And like Human Woman Hater, again, palm muted hammer, so hammer-ons. And those blues kind of things. And then, you know, a lot of string skipped arpeggios. Let's say this kind of arpeggio E minor. How NUNO uses and how I use it. Instead of sweeping, you do. String skipping, which is really cool. And he uses this same approach when he taps. Basically this was kind of like that. And then like this screen skipping lick. I think he uses, I've seen him switching to both pickups when he plays this lick. blank moment. I can't remember from what song that is, but it's from Pornography. And then another thing what he kind of does is sometimes like so again, string skipping. Like that, and kind of palm muting and same time, really cool stuff. He mixes what I like, what I do a lot. He mixes a lot of minor and major pentatonics, like the rise solo. Kind of something like kind of mixes minor, major pentatonics, Dorian, blues scale, string skipping and stuff. So a lot of cool stuff. Amazing player. I really like his playing a lot. And the famous rise solos, hammer on from nowhere, muted stuff. So that's in drop tuning. So I tune the guitar to drop. This is now in drop C sharp. The recorded version of Rise is in drop D, and I actually did a video playthrough kind of production thing, link there and in the description if you want to check that out. But just gonna show you it slowly, at least the way I figured it out and the way I play it and played it. So, like this. Pay attention to my right and left hands. So if I would pick everything, I missed a few notes, but anyway. more slowly. Like that. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting and informative, and maybe, you know, this gives you idea or whatever to look further. There's great lessons, I believe, full of internet about his technique and songs, and probably some tablatures too. Alright, until next time, take care, bye.